Namaskar and welcome to this episode of National Perspective. Today we are going to discuss the liquor policy by Delhi government and the allegations made by the BJP. I don't want to get into the politics of it and the political allegations. The fundamental question is, what are the issues that are involved in this liquor policy made by the Kejriwal government? 2. Can Kejriwal government afford to duck these questions and issues that are evolving through the report of the Chief Secretary of Delhi? And 3. Should he do that in the national interest, considering that this party called Aam Aadmi Party has come out of anti-corruption movement? So, what is this entire liquor policy controversy is all about? Previously, in Delhi, it was the government corporations that used to run liquor stores. Now, in this new policy that was envisaged during the COVID period, the liquor sector in Delhi was thrown open to the private players, the market. This is fine. Whether government should be there in liquor business or not, one can ask this question. But the way this policy was formulated and with the urgency this was supposed to roll out during the COVID crisis, with the provisions that the number of liquor stores in every ward should be at least 2 to 3. Even the residential areas will have liquor stores. The age of liquor consumption will be reduced from 25 to 21. The liquor availability will be made will be extended up to 3 a.m. early morning. So these were the provisions with which this policy was rolled out. Now, as per the government claim, this was meant to increase the government revenue by 27%. And on July 8, 2022, after a lot of deliberations, Delhi Chief Secretary found certain irregularities and procedural lapses in the new liquor policy and sent his report to the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, V.K. Saxena. What are the key allegations? The benefits were extended while allocating these contracts for liquor shops, the licenses, to the people who were close to AAP, for which there were certain changes that were made in the approved policy. And Manish Sisodia, who was also handling the excise department, took major decisions, changed statutory provisions and notified this policy with a huge financial implications. And one of them is that there was a sort of 144 crore of taxes that was supposed to be collected through this entire exercise were waived off. There is another twist to this. Tender Evaluation Committee involved in this process made last minute modifications and changes. But there a kind of discount coupons, add-on liquor facilities, which can lead to encouraging of cartelization, promotion of consumption, shareholding companies which were blacklisted by Madhya Pradesh government getting these licenses. So there are multiple levels of allegations. There is one more curious case. There is one person called Vijay Nair, founder of Only Much Louder, basically a company which is mainly involved in uh, event management, and the person is associated volunteer of the app. He played an instrumental role in uh, exchange of favors for the liquor barons Amit Arora, Dinesh Arora, and few others. Uh, these are the allegations that came out, that this new excise policy through Vijay Nair extended wrongful gains to liquor wholesalers called Indospirit and Bridaco. It is alleged that waivers were given to these liquor barons in exchange of monetary benefits, and they were all part of a nexus. Now, if this particular policy has violated the basic norms of cabinet approval and incurred losses of more than 140 crores, certain refunds related to earnest money were made somewhere around 30 crores when it comes to the airport zone allocations, then this is a gross corruption if these allegations are true. So it talks about corruption, it talks about criminal conspiracy, it talks about falsification of accounts, and it also talks about the sort of quid pro quo that took shape just before the Punjab assembly elections. And some of the vendors who got these licenses are associated with Punjab, coming from Punjab. So the key questions here are not just about politics. Unfortunately, the response by Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal himself has been, we have got a very good education policy. New York Times has certified us, and that's why, these allegations are made. In Satyendra Jain case also, if the allegations are related to Hawala, we have got a health policy, and that's why these allegations are made. Maybe, because the case is still being investigated, though Chief Secretary has filed his report. But what is the message of this Delhi government which came out of anti-corruption movement in case of both Satyendra Jain and Manish Sisodia? What are the questions? One, were there last minute changes in the liquor policy? Did it provide certain benefits to the vendors, especially coming from Punjab? Was there any quid pro quo involved when it comes to the allocation of these licenses? 4, why did the earnest money returned to these vendors, especially in the airport zone? And 5, if all these things were happening, why cabinet kept quiet and did the approval to this policy or the changes only post facto? If these are the questions, then either waiving New York Times or just claiming that these are false allegations, or claiming that agencies, central agencies, investigation agencies are acting at the behest of the ruling BJP, this is not going to serve any purpose. Anti-corruption movement and Aam Aadmi Party started by saying that entire political class is corrupt. They also started waving papers claiming about corruption, especially by the then Congress government, Sheila Dikshit, who was chief minister, and uh, uh, we still don't know whether there was a substance or not. But Aam Aadmi Party got benefit of it. That time, the position of Aam Aadmi Party and anti-corruption movement was: one, there should be Lokpal; two, these people who are facing these corruption charges should resign. They should come clean. Now, can there be an excuse that, okay, we have got New York Times certificate, we have got education model, we have got health model, and that's why we have got the right to corruption? And the same principle that we propagated doesn't apply to us? The real questions are still not addressed. Whether there was a wrongdoing or not, why those changes were made, if at all any changes were made, why there were way-offs. And if this is true, then this is a real challenge for Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party, because they have already painted all other political parties as corrupt. But as they say in Hindi, आप ऐसे तो ना थे, आप इसके लिए तो राजनीति में नहीं आए थे. If you have to present, and as many a times people talk about democracy and the role of opposition, and we need a nationwide opposition, so there has to be some role model. The real challenge for Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia is, can they present that model to our entire nation? We have had 2-3 previous experiences and people still remember them. Like, for example, on the basis of on the issue of accidents in the Ministry of Railways, it was late Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri who chose to resign and then come back. We have experience of Madan Lal Khurana himself from Delhi. We have an example of Lal Krishna Advani, who said, Jain Hawala diaries, if there are even initials, forget about the investigation. Immediately we are resigning. Only if we are clean, then we will make a comeback. Isn't that option available for Satyendra Jain and Manish Sisodia? If we are sincerely and seriously talking about corruption as an issue, and systemic corruption at the government level as a huge issue, which Prime Minister himself has made as a point that dynastic and corruption, they go hand in hand and we need to fight it as a nation, then people have given a mandate to a party that has come out of a movement. And that's why there are a lot of expectations. You can't say you can't ask us a question. We will ask questions to other political parties, but we are already clean. We have certified clean, and that's why nobody can ask us a question. And therefore, with a lot of hope and expectation, people are raising this issue that can Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party really afford to duck these questions? People want answers. And people want answers because people are looking at Aam Aadmi Party, whether it is truly different in the sense of probity and transparency when it comes to governance. It is an issue of transparent and accountable governance and not of politics. I hope that there is a public opinion, there is a pressure, as we have seen during the UPA government, that will, within Aam Aadmi Party, in India Against Corruption like movement, and outside Aam Aadmi Party, there will be some kind of momentum around this, and hopefully some sense will prevail to present a truly transparent model of governance, not just to people of Delhi, but to the nation at large. I hope liquor policy will become a case study for conduct of accountable and transparent governance. I hope this episode of National Perspective made some sense and uh, educated you, informed you about the larger picture that has arisen out of this entire controversy. If you like the episode of National Perspective, then please follow, like, and share Organiser YouTube channel. We are also there on various social media platforms. Please support our nationalist journalism, which goes beyond news. Namaskar. Thank you.